Okay, we're gonna get started on our refried beans. So I'm gonna push some of this stuff off to the side. What we have here are 3 cups of dried pinto beans. If you have never done dried beans, I'm just gonna give you a couple of quick tips on that and we're gonna get started. So before I do that, the refried beans calls for 3 cups. I have just over 3 cups in here of dried pinto beans, 1 onion, a half of a jalapeno pepper, which my husband graciously cut up for me, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 5 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, and it calls for 9 cups of water, but I think that this is the recipe that I was using for the crock pot, so I may back that water down. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and judge that once we get started and get to that point. So for the dried beans, we're going to go ahead and pour these out on the counter, and we're going to look for any beans that looked funny or any rocks that will be in the beans. So I will just kind of keep pushing these out to the side until I find one or don't find one. Like this bean here, looks a little dark, probably nothing wrong with it, but I'm just going to go ahead and toss it. And sometimes I find rocks, sometimes I don't, but always want to check to make sure that there are no rocks in your beans before you start cooking them. So far so good. Hopefully you're getting a good visual of that. And one more weird looking bean. Again, probably nothing wrong with it, but I really don't want to eat it. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop these back into my container so that I can rinse them. And then I will reposition our camera and show you how easy this recipe is to put together. All right. Okay, we've got our beans rinsed. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a cutting board and get our onion ready. Move our jalapeno out of the way. All right. So the reason why I didn't pre-chop this onion is because of the fact that when you are making this recipe, you don't really have to chop the onion. I chunk it into a few pieces and I pop it right in. So there's our onion. Move the camera just a bit for you. And normally we'll just cut it into 6 pieces, and that's it. Super easy. Just wait till you see how easy this recipe is, and you're going to be making this all the time. I'm going to move this out of the way and bring our Instant Pot over. Today I'm using the 6-quart Instant Pot. I will normally bring out my 8-quart for this, but since I'm already using this one, I'm just going to go ahead and keep going. So we have our beans. Again, 3 cups of that. I'm going to go ahead and pop those in there. Those have been pre-rinsed. I have 1/2 of a jalapeno pepper. I'm going to go ahead and pop that in there. I don't know about you, but I do not like touching those because I always end up touching my eye or my face, and then got a hot spot. So try not to touch those. Have my onion here. I'm going to pop that in. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. And I'm just using a jarred minced garlic just to make this process quicker and easier. And this is a brand new jar. To get that open, never fails. I always forget to do at least one thing. It's either forgetting the measuring spoon or something to stir with, which as I'm looking around, I don't have anything to stir with either. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop in a couple of heaping tablespoons of garlic because it is refried beans, so the extra garlic is not gonna hurt at all. 2 teaspoons of black pepper. And pop that in there. Now I know this seems like a lot, but it calls for 5 teaspoons of salt, and with the beans and everything else, and you really do need the 5 teaspoons. So just go ahead and go against your better judgment and just put those in there. And try not to lose count as you're talking. I think that's 5. Then we're going to add our cumin. And that does call for, again, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw in a 1/2 teaspoon of that cumin. Just have a big jar of ground cumin that I picked up. I think I picked this up at Blocks at the end of the year last year. All right, we're going to go ahead and add in our water. Again, we need... It calls for 9 cups of water, but we're going to judge that. So I'm going to grab 4 cups here first. And see where that's at. And when you are doing dried beans in your Instant Pot, you always want to remember to never fill your Instant Pot more than half full because they are going to expand. About 6 cups, 7. We're going to stop at 7. It looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and throw the lid on. And this is where it gets fun. I'm going to move my vent to ceiling. And that was a little lever here. I just got it pushed back to the ceiling mode. Now, this is where it gets good. If you have never done dried beans in your Instant Pot, I am going to set this for 50 minutes. That's 50. And that is going to go ahead and cook those beans nice and tender so that we can make those into refried beans once those are done. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit my manual button. I'm gonna bring that up to 50. And I'm gonna let it go. So when those are done, I'll come back to you and I'll show you the next step. Okay, I just wanted to do a quick check-in with our beans. They have come to pressure, cooked for the 50 minutes, that's 50 minutes, and now they are starting to do their natural release. Anytime you cook beans, you always want to just let them naturally release and just let them do their thing until your pin drops. So our pin is still up. It's probably going to take 45 minutes, but we're just going to let it do its thing, and then we'll come back and finish our refried beans. Stay tuned. Okay, it's time to finish our refried beans. I'm going to go ahead and pull the top off, and you can see, hopefully, what that looks like. So the easiest way that I found to do this, being how I don't yet have an immersion blender, stay tuned though, because that just might get ordered in the next day or two. So I'm going to turn the camera around here and we'll continue over in my sink, so stay tuned. Okay, so we don't need all of the juice from the beans. So I'm going to go ahead and take that and just strain that into a strainer, because we will need some, just not all of it. Let me take the edge off here really quick. So I'm going to put this mixture back in my Instant Pot. Just don't want it dripping all over. All right, so I've got that back in here. See if I can just scooch back just a bit. There you go. And what I have here is an old-fashioned potato masher. And this is how I've been doing it for the past year since I've been making these. So I am just going to start mashing the beans. And sometimes I take the onions out, sometimes I don't. So today I'm just going to leave those in there. So I'm going to use some muscle power here and start putting this together, and I'll just fast forward through this part until we get the consistency we're looking for. Maybe we'll change modes. Let me grab my hand mixer. So now we're just going to switch modes. I just have a regular hand mixer. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started and see if I can get this into a quicker consistency. All right, that looks good. Give you one final look. And I don't know if you have had the refried beans out of the can, but to me they're kind of bland. And this one has a really, really good flavor. So I hope you make this recipe, and if you do, please let me know and comment down below. And I hope you enjoyed today's video.